Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm dropping brand new videos on topics such as public speaking, how to learn more effectively, how to improve your social skills, and much more. Join the tribe by hitting that subscribe button right on below, hit that bell notification, and never miss another video again. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and be sure to drop that like on your way in as we break down today's talk, which is titled Survival of the Smartest. Nowadays, the whole idea of things being predictable is a thing of the past. Nowadays, it's more important than ever to be in constant learning mode because out of nowhere, industries can change. And if a person is not capable of adjusting with this change, then what's going to happen is that they'll get fired, they'll lose a lot of money, and unfortunately, they're going to lose happiness in the process. It's not as though that education ends once someone has a degree. It's more so understanding that it's no longer just survival of the fittest. It's survival of the smartest. And in order to become smarter, it's not as though that there are complex ideas that need to be consumed. Instead, it's the simple ideas that always win because it's the simple ideas that lead to consistency. For today's episode, I'm going to be sharing 3 very simple ideas from my book, Modern Day Polymath, which is currently out on all different formats, ranging from ebook, Kindle, paperback, hardcover, to audiobook. I'm going to drop all the links in the description box and the pinned comment right on below. And these 3 simple ideas, I'm going to encapsulate in a story format so you understand its practicality. And I'll tell you the 3 simple ideas right now. 1, always say yes to learning opportunities, not no or let me think about it. Always say yes. 2, understand the value of analogies. And 3, understand the value of anecdotes. With these 3 simple ideas, you will become someone who can thrive in the era where it's survival of the smartest. If you're ready and excited for today's story, go on and drop that like for me right on below. I would say around 2011, I had just gotten a job at 7-Eleven. I was in college at the time, and I just needed some pocket change to get more McDonald's and more fast food. You know how a college kid lives. Initially, I was hired for the day shift, and the guy who hired me was this big guy named Art. Art was this Indian man, I would say 6'4", a big belly, and he had charisma like none other. He would routinely try to sell his customers on added stuff. It's like, you only want to get gas? You don't want to get some of the buffalo rollers as well? And his ability to use his words and his charm was able to get the sale. And he would want me to do the same exact thing. See, I got along with Art. I liked him. Who I didn't like was his wife. His wife would come out of nowhere to 7-Eleven, and she was a tyrant. She would be ordering us around, bossing us around, telling us we're not working fast enough. And Art knew that she was pretty hard to get along with. And I heard from the other workers that a lot of the past workers quit because of her. Art was able to see that she was getting under my skin, and he decided that he was going to switch me from daytime shift to nighttime shift. This was a good thing and a bad thing. It was a good thing because I no longer had to see this tyrant. It was a bad thing because I now had to do grunt work. I would get into the shift at 12 a.m. and I would work up until 5 a.m. And what I would do was, restock a lot of the stuff in this cold freezer where I'm freezing and I'm putting the stuff up there like chocolate milk, juices and such. I would get these dirty carpets, roll them up and carry them outside, which was heavy. And the dirt was like rubbing across my face and stuff, disgusting. And then I had to get the carpets and shake it. Afterwards, I had to clean a lot of the junk. I had to throw away a lot of the hot food. And overall, it wasn't fun. But what I did like was that I was on my own time. I didn't have Art or his wife watching over me. It was just me and another person who was really chill that would work. Well, one day, Art came to 7-Eleven at, I would say, 3 in the morning, and he pulled me aside. He's like, "Hey, Armani, I noticed that you're working very hard and you're doing a lot of the grunt work with poise. Do you want to learn more about the business of 7-Eleven?" And this was the first lesson. I didn't say no. I didn't say, let me think about it. Something in my gut said, say yes. So I said yes. And that's when he started to teach me about forecasting, why he ordered the certain products that he did. And he even talked a little bit about the gas. I'm like, "Art, why aren't you talking more about the gas? I mean, isn't that how 7-Eleven makes most of its money?" And that's when he gave me a response that I wasn't expecting at all. He's like, "Not really. I don't know if you know this, Armani, but gas station companies make pennies on gas." I was like, "Makes pennies on gas? Then why do you even sell it in the first place?" He's like, "The reason that I sell the gas anyways is because it brings people in, and once they're into the store, that's when they can buy the other stuff that makes this business money." And I was getting it when he explained it like that. I was like, "Oh, I get it. So the gas is sort of like this glorified flyer that brings people in and makes you money in the back end." He nods his head. And that was one of the first times that I bonded with Art and learned more about the business of 7-Eleven. Now, fast forward a couple of years later, I'm now working with this one person who has a small YouTube channel where I believe he made these train railroads, the toy version. And his videos didn't get too many views or anything like that, but he was in business for a long time. As we were talking, I was like, like, how do you exactly make money, and why exactly do you keep making videos for? And he told me something that I found very fascinating. He's like, "Armani, all these videos and stuff, it's not my main income stream. I pretty much make pennies on this, but what it does is that it brings people into my universe, and once they're in my universe, I could sell them on a bunch of the products that I have in the back end." And when I heard this guy say this, I was like, wait a minute. I zoomed out and I saw this stunning analogy between the gas station business and the YouTube business. And this was lesson number 2, which is the capability of spotting analogies. Something about analogies speak to the subconscious mind. And not only does it speak to the subconscious mind, we have to understand that in terms of human behavior, 95% of it is controlled by the image mind, the subconscious mind. So if we want to speak to the subconscious mind, that's the way that we apply the information that we learn. So this analogy made all the sense in the world. And now I'm doing the third thing, which is anecdotes. See, anecdotes often get laughed at in terms of education. People are like, okay, well, anecdotes are not evidence. I mean, anecdotes, it's not going to do much for you. But in the Modern Day Polymath, I talk about how anecdotes are weapons in order to build education at rapid rates. It's sort of like, let's say you're trying to learn someone's name for the first time, and there's a thing called mnemonics. Mnemonics are mental hooks in order to remember information easily. So I go by Armon or Armani because it's a mnemonic for a brand that people are accustomed to. So when they hear Armani without the I, they remember the name. It's a mental cheat code. And likewise with education, anecdotes are a brilliant way for us to actually apply the information that we're learning. So it doesn't matter which industry a person is in. The reason that the smart get smarter is because they value all forms of experiences, because they're always saying yes to learning opportunities. Do you want to learn about the 7-Eleven business? Yes. Do you want to learn about train station, YouTube niche? Yes, sign me up. And the more that they keep saying yes, the more that they're capable of spotting analogies from completely different fields. And the more that they keep spotting analogies from different fields, the more they tell anecdotes that allow them to understand this information on a behavioral level and not just a head level. They don't care if they know the information to pass a test. They want to know the information well enough to be able to explain it so they can eventually apply it. So the 3 key ideas is to, number 1, always say yes to learning opportunities. Number 2, value analogies. And number 3, tell anecdotes about the analogies that you have spotted throughout your learning journey. By doing that, the smart will become smarter, and it doesn't matter how much the industry changes below your feet. You know that you will be capable of adjusting with power. If you enjoyed today's talk and you want more practical insights on how to learn in a very unorthodox way that leads to practical behavioral changes, be sure to check out the Modern Day Polymath. This book covers a variety of topics on using the scientific method, how to problem solve effectively, how to explain things clearly, and how to actually apply the information that you learn. The Modern Day Polymath is currently available on Gumroad, Amazon, Audible. I'm going to drop all the links in the description box and the pinned comment right on below, or you can go straight to ArmaniTalks.com and grab your copy today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I will catch you next time.